Welcome everyone. Thank you, Malkah, for welcoming us with these frequencies. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Thank you for staying in your silence and joining, Miriam. Yeah, just taking a moment to arrive, allowing the last people to drop in. Maybe noticing your body, how it is to arrive here, taking a few breaths, and maybe even a little stretch. Letting go of the day or the half day that you already experienced. Oh, shaking off everything that you don't need anymore. Maybe distracts you from really arriving here. Yeah, maybe you want to feel your heart. Maybe even put a hand on your heart as you arrive. As we gather here in this high holiday of Yom Kippur, Jewish holiday. Actually, to be in the spiritual meaning, to be in the spiritual presence of the space that holiday offers us to reflect upon our own lives beyond the religious, beyond the religion, beyond to the human, to the spiritual, to the universal places that we as humans meet in ourselves. And yeah, just really from Satyam homeland, which most of you know is a living community in the occupied territories of the West Bank, Palestine. As we explore there for 15 years in different projects, but Satyam is the continuation of this exploration, which is a home located in Vijala for the last 1.5 years, even more than that now. Exploring how we can come together as human beings across the divide. And meet what we were taught our enemies, and how do we find the common again that we connect through, that we share. And one of those places is our humanity. One of those places also is our spirituality and the experience of life itself and the challenges that we meet as humans, the choices we make. How do we live with them? How do we live with ourselves What compass do we have in this world to guide us? And one of the things we research deeply in Satyam is our own truth connected to how we want to live, how we want to relate. Where do we want to put our energy? What is the world we want to create, truly? And how we want to show up in the world. For what values do we want to show up? And how do we do that? Encouraging each other, supporting each other. So this is the work we do. We bring people together across divides, Jewish, Palestinian, Israeli, international, to sit together, to meet, to heal from the wounds we've inflicted on each other and ourselves in the process of this project of separation that we're part of, that we participated in, possibly ourselves, out of fear, out of pain, how to heal from it, how to create something else together. And especially now, in times of increasing violence, of genocide, of ethnic cleansing. These are big words, but actually what they mean is of people suffering, people being hurt. Us not being able to meet our needs in ways that are loving and compassionate and inclusive with each other. And we truly believe that we can do better at Satyam. We truly believe, because we experience we can. In microcosms that we create, we explore and we see, yes, we can. We can do different. So how do we scale that? So we are basically in this moment of time very much trying to be in the activism outside, to mobilize, to do, to create change because it's urgent. Yet we understand that true change happens inside of our own hearts when we return to our true selves. And that the change must always come from the inside. So we believe in that happening through reflection, through meditation, through joint work, encounter work, through meeting reality, so that something can change in our consciousness. And I am so grateful for Malkah, Binah, and Samah for having met both of you as part of this hunger strike that we were on the last months. For you to join us, I so appreciate your presence and the light you hold, and also through your friendship. For me, it's just healing that you're together and that you found each other, and it's part of the deep work that I feel that you feel also that you have done to embody, to be together in this so deeply, in love, in trust, in companionship, unifying and standing for and speaking for everyone together. So first of all, bowing to your journey and your work, and really deeply grateful for you, everything you bring to this community and this campaign. And even more so grateful that you had the idea of sharing with our community a ceremony today in celebration of this Yom Kippur and the portal it offers us for our own atonement, or At-One-Ment, as you so beautifully put it, giving us a chance to reflect our ways of being in the world, and where do we fall short of our own our own values? Where do we meet ourselves? Where not yet, as we are humans. It is a constant journey, and offering us a space lovingly held to reflect upon that and to drink from the wisdom of the tradition. And so, yeah, really warm welcome from my heart. Thank you for opening the space here today for our community, both of you. Thank you so much.
And in a moment, Samah and I will begin by sharing about our names. And we also invite you to be thinking about the names that you call yourselves. But before we do that, I would like to just chant the beginning line of the Kol Nidre as I have learned it, just to get us in the spirit of a prayer that is being chanted all over the world, has already been chanted in Israel, will be in a few hours in the United States. And these melodies are very evocative of this day. And the words are about releasing our karmic vows that hold us back from being in full connection with the divine. Do it a second time and invite you to join me if you're so moved. And this ritual is an opportunity to explore what it means to be a full human being, a flawed human being as we all are, with this incredible gift of the capacity to turn and to return. And as Samah and I discovered through our preparations, the concept is very much in alignment from Judaism and from Islam. But before we go there, we're going to share about our names. I'm Malkah Binah. This is the Hebrew name my parents gave me when I was first born. And it means, Malkah means queen, and Binah is wisdom, and it's a form of, it's a womb wisdom, motherly wisdom. And I've been, when I turned 39, starting my 40th year, I claimed this as the name I use all the time, and really working on living into what does it mean to be a queen of wisdom.
My name is Samah, and in Arabic, Samah means forgiveness. And I'm starting, probably when I was younger, I didn't really appreciate my name much. And now that I'm older, hopefully wiser, I kind of really cherish this name that my parents gave me. And I use it also to calm myself. So whenever I'm in a situation, especially when I'm driving, I find myself have to use my name as a way to calm myself, actually. I just repeat my name, Samah, Samah, and that calms me because it reminds me to forgive. Let that person pass. It's okay. Um, so that's it's how we use it. I use it, and
Will you say a word about your dad?
oh yeah, and my father's name is Samih, and it comes it's from the same root. In Arabic, our names come from each other. So, and usually our middle name is our father's name. So I'm Samah, Samih. So I'm reminded twice because my father's name is Samih, means forgiver in Arabic. So it's so I'm Samah, Samih. So I'm reminded to double forgiveness. I try my best, but it's a practice, and I try to practice double forgiveness, and to forgive, start with myself, also to forgive myself first, because we cannot start from outside to in. We have to start from in, from within to outside, and that's the hardest. And sometimes I do well, and sometimes I miss it completely, and I forgive myself when I miss it. I double forgive myself when I miss it. So I ask you also to start by, sending this love to yourself and forgive yourself on this day. Um, so be gentle with yourself, be loving to yourself. And then we can start from there to forgive the world and send peace and love.
So we wanted to explore this concept of turning, returning, that is core to this time of year. And in Hebrew, the concept is teshuvah, which means turning, returning. And in Arabic,
it's tawbah. And also it means tawbah, it's returning and to get back to the right path.
And it's amazing to discover that, and very possibly these words and these concepts come from a common root. We are cousins who, back in the day, very much those who wrote the texts that have made their way down to us very much learned from one another. And we wanted to share, there's some legends about going back to the moment before the creation of the human being. So I want to invite you to kind of imagine there was once a time before there were human beings, and the angels and the divine were having an argument. Shall we create human beings? And the angel of compassion says, of course we shall create human beings, because humans will have this tremendous capacity for compassion. And the angel of truth said, no. Human beings will cause a lot of damage. Do not bring these beings into existence. And as the legend goes, the angel of truth, Emet, was hurled from heaven, and humans were created. Which means that truth is here among us on earth. And there's a teaching, it's actually a verse from Psalms, that's truth sprouts from the earth. Emet me'eretz titzmach. And our work here is to discover that. And one of the tremendous gifts of accompanying Satyam over this hunger strike this summer has been the truth telling that happens in this community, and the slowing down and the feeling in the heart which allows for the truth telling and the truth knowing. And we were just discovering how hard it's becoming to see truth in these days. And getting harder given the technologies that obscure truth and the different kinds of the ways that the not true news gets into people's consciousness, and even people in our own families and communities, and it can be very confusing. And what I'm starting to discover as I speak more the truths I know about what the Israeli army is inflicting upon the people of Gaza and the people of the West Bank. People in my community are having a very hard time and are calling me names, rather than stopping and being curious of, is there a truth here that's too hard for my heart to learn, and how do we slow down so my heart can receive? So we have is anything else you'd like to add in this moment?
No, I think I just want to say that it is becoming hard to know the truth with all of the technology that's been created now, that you look at something and you don't know, and you see it in your eyes and you say, well, I've seen it, and then it turns out to be AI, or it's really hard. It's like, how come that we're looking at something and still not real, right? But what's real for sure is that connections that we made through Satyam or through other organizations, the connections we have, that they cannot take that away. That's true. That's something we feel. That's something we experience. So that's we have to get back to that truth, the truth of human being connecting with each other as human being. And that they haven't managed to find a way yet to,
too powerful.
yeah. So we will cling to that connection that we have as human beings, and I think we will find the truth there.
And I also want to just thank you, Samah, for coming into my life. And before I knew you, I knew the word Palestinian refugee, but I didn't really know. And then to learn that your family came from Haifa, where I spent a summer, and I know it's considered a mixed city, Jewish, and the term that they used back then, Jewish and Arab mixed city, but like I did not know. I just was blind to that there were people who were forced to leave in 1948 from that area, and how that had such a profound effect on your whole life and your family. And I just so appreciate your sharing your stories with me, and so that I am able to see more clearly what's the whole picture of what happened in the land, and finding it's healing me to know more, and that you're sharing with me. And I also want to acknowledge that some of you have heard the story. This ring here is from Samah's grandmother, her grandmother Kauthar, who left with her 9 children in 1948 from Haifa. From Akka.
Mm-hmm. My dad is from Haifa, but she actually left from Haifa to Akka. You're right, and then from Akka to Lebanon.
And Samah, when I went to the land in February, Samah sent me with her grandmother's ring, which I brought back to Akka, where she grew up, for a visit. And just knowing even the changing of our consciousness is a powerful thing we can do in terms of turning our hearts, turning back to God. That it's a truth telling.
And there's a certain space for that when that happens. Sharing also requires some kind of trust, some kind of place where you feel safe, like that Satyam had created, or that you, Malkah, has created, that I was able to share and feel vulnerable, because it's hard sometimes. When we don't feel safe, that's when we kind of like just hide and try not to share who we are, because we feel threatened or we're going to risk something. But when we feel safe and we trust that this person is going to hold this space so I can share, then it's actually liberating for both of us, for the person who's sharing, so they're not holding that truth by themselves. So that's the power of sharing. And also for the person who's listening, which it's also holding that space and know that they can hold all of what they're just heard, and that they're powerful enough to just sit with it. Sometimes it's really hard to listen and sit with what we have, what we've heard, especially if it's something that you are not used to hear, or it's a narrative that is different than your narrative. So it clashes with it, and sometimes our ego gets in the way. So it requires a lot of work, and I appreciate all of the work you've done to listen and hear my narrative and allow me this space to feel safe to share. So.
And then once we know certain truths, then we can't unknow them. And then the responsibility to turn towards our own community and do the very challenging work. Sometimes it's harder to speak with our own community than it is to speak with someone who we've been taught is our enemy. So I'm going to turn now to, oops. So I'm sharing it, so I think that it's here. I think so it's.
They can see it.
Can you all see the screen? So this is on Yom Kippur. It's a very long day, 25 hours, where traditionally Jewish people fast from water and food, and also from wearing comfortable shoes, from anointing, from sexual relations. And it's a day, in a sense, of rehearsing one's own death, that the month prior to our new year is a time of making amends, as though if you only had a short time to live, what amends would you want to make? To be turning to people and owning ways we've missed the mark, and really this invitation to renewal, to the teshuvah, the tauba. And on Yom Kippur, it's this opportunity to do the work between us and the divine. And we do not have that we cannot just say, oh God, forgive me for, and if there's something that we need to make a reconciliation with another person, this prayer can't erase a responsibility, but there's actually so much work to do between us and the divine, and that's the invitation of this day. And so this is from the traditional liturgy, and the part at the top on the right, this is an English translation from the traditional Hebrew liturgy, and was wondering if someone would like to read for us the part up on the right at the top. Marcia, thank you.
Blessings, everyone. It's a blessing to be here with all of you. Our God and God of our ancestors, have compassion on all your people on this Yom Kippur. You are aware of our misdeeds, whether performed openly or in secret, whether consciously or unwittingly, whether by choice or under duress, whether against you or against our sisters and brothers. Nothing is concealed from your sight. Help us find strength to turn from our wrongdoing. May it be your will to forgive us.
Thank you, Marcia. And this is known as the Al-Chet litany, Al-Chet for the sins. And the Arabic word for chet, sin or missing the mark, it's khatia. So it's very, very similar. And so I invite you, we tap our chests traditionally, kind of waking ourselves up, but it's not meant to be beating ourselves up, but also just waking up the heart. And if you would like to join me, and we have like many different lists of sins that we recite, and also in a lot of contemporary congregations, we write our own anonymously and turn them in, and then they're read out by different members of the community. So this is one of the traditional lists. I will chant in the Hebrew and then invite you to join me in the English. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha behar hor halev. For the sin we have committed against you in our thoughts. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bedibur peh. For the sin we have committed against you with our words. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'nitiyat garon. For the sin we have committed against you through our arrogance. Ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha belashon hara uvirichilut. And for the sin we have committed against you through slander and idle gossip. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha v'shiput hazulat. For the sin we have committed against you by passing judgment on others. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bekalut rosh uvazut metzach. And for the sin we have committed against you by irreverence and insolence. Wait, I think it's on my computer. Oh, shoot. Hold on 1 minute. I also want to acknowledge that we may not personally have violated each and every one of these, but the idea is that we are holding one another in community, and that we're doing our personal work, but we're also doing our communal work. And by everyone joining together, it's like we're holding that we're all responsible, and that we need each other to be in that energy field so that we can face what we have done. Let me try again here. Ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha be'aflaya gizanit. And for the sin we have committed against you through racial prejudice. Wait, that's, you know what? Nope, sorry. It's the one on the left. Forgive me. That's the, forgive me. It's the one on the left first. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'tziviut. For the sin we have committed against you by our hypocrisy. Ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'sinah atzmit. For the sin we have committed against you by self-hatred. Ve'al kulam elo aselichot selach lanu mechalanu kaper lanu. For all these, God of mercy, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement. David, there's somebody in the waiting room, if you can let them in. Al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'mizuk ahava im tshuka v'hana'at haraga. For the sin we have committed against you by confusing love with lust and fleeting pleasure. Ve'al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'dibuk b'yofi tiv'i. For the sin we have committed against you by your obsession with physical beauty. Ve'al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'gilui arayot. For the sin we have committed against you by sexual immorality. Ve'al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'ha'amadat panim l'regashot she'en anu chashim. For the sin we have committed against you by pretending to emotions we do not feel. Al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'hit pa'arut atzmit uve'enochiut. For the sin we have committed against you through vanity and egocentricity. Ve'al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'imutz halev. For the sin we have committed against you by hardening our hearts. For the sin al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'shtika uve'arishut. For the sin we have committed against you through silence and indifference. Al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'aflaya giz'anit. For the sin we have committed against you through racial prejudice. Ve'al kulam Eloha selichot selach lanu mechalanu kaper lanu. Al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'nitzul emdat koach. For the sin we have committed against you through the abuse of power. Al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'yitzi'ah lema'avak tokpani. And for the sin we have committed against you by raging aggressive war. Al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'masa uve'matan. For the sin we have committed against you through dishonesty in our work. Ve'al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'shvu'at shav. For the sin we have committed against you with vain oaths. Al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'shimush be'emtza'im shlilaim lehasagat matarot chiyuviot. For the sin we have committed against you by using evil means to accomplish good ends. Ve'al chet shachatanu lefanecha b'fgi'a v'zulat b'derech kal shehi. And for the sin we have committed against you by hurting others in any way. Ve'al kulam Eloha selichot selach lanu mechalanu kaper lanu. For all these, God of mercy, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement. Grant us at-one-ment. May we turn towards God. May we reconnect. May we learn to be more truthful with ourselves and with others in our communities. And my inclination is to open up this space now for some sharing, and just would love to hear from each of you who'd like to speak, and perhaps to, like Samah and I did, to share a little bit about your name. Here, we can bring down the share. or if you would like to just reflect on that experience, whether this is a ritual you're familiar with or something that's brand new, what this evoked. And so this Al-Khait is recited 5 times over the Yom Kippur. It's like a one long day. It starts in the evening and goes through the following evening, and 5 different times this is recited. And then there's also some other forms of forgiveness prayers. I also want to acknowledge that I said that this was a version that's traditional and ancient, and I think that the version I have, it's actually, many of the phrases are from the Middle Ages. Oh, Jahida, bye-bye. Thanks for being with us. So some of this is from the Middle Ages, and yet that this is also a contempt. I believe that the Paneor community of Philadelphia and Reb Zalman developed this and added some of the lines. So just acknowledging that. So just want to welcome, if anyone would like to unmute, and just to be mindful, just to be lean in your sharing, so that we can create space for everybody. But just if you'd like to share about your name or just a reflection so far on what we've discussed. And just so grateful that we're here in this community, and so grateful for the feeling that happens when we're together, slowing down in this way. Marcia, go ahead.
I am very grateful to you, Malkah Binah, and to you, Samah, for the beauty of your friendship and caring and journey together, and for sharing your names, and for sending me the button that I received in the mail, Samah. Thank you. And to your son. Thank you.
And just say what the button is, so in case people don't know what you're talking
about. The button is until Gaza eats, we fast.
Yes.
And that's from Mondays for Gaza with Satyam Home. Ah, there it is, David.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that connection. And that's what I'm feeling so strongly and so grateful for. And my name, my Yiddish name was Masha. And I came from a Yiddish speaking and secular family. And I was named after my great-grandfather, Moshe. So Moshe and Masha are the same name. And Moshe is Moses, and kind of heart and soul. But when I asked my parents about my name, they said, well, your grandfather was, your great-grandfather was Moshe, but when he came to America, he was Max. I said, oh, Max, why didn't you name me Max? I really loved that name. But it's, so I carry the tradition of my Polish great-grandfather and family who were from Sejny in Poland, and were millers. So their name was Młynisz. His name was Moshe Młyniszki, and he came to America, and his name became Max Miller.
Thank you, Moshe. And I'm so grateful you evoked Moses, who is so central to the Torah. And we were just talking earlier about how Teshuvah or Tauba, the divine, is in a dance with humans, that we turn towards God and God turns towards us. It's not just one way. And I was reminded of, with the incident of the golden calf in the book of Exodus, God is so angry that the people have turned away that God says, I'm going to destroy the people. I'll just keep you, Moses, and I'm going to destroy everybody else. And Moses has to talk God off the ledge and say, so that this idea that we humans have this capacity to call God on those violent tendencies, that not to underestimate our own power to be a source of nonviolence in even in the heavenly realms. Would anyone else like to share briefly? Yes, Evelyn.
For me, this is all about collective responsibility for this year. I've spent time regarding my own individual character faults. But when I think about Al-Khet, it's for me so painful about the history of the establishment of the state of Israel. It was always so just like a renewal, after the Holocaust. For me, it was like rising from the ashes, so deep for me. And at the same time, to know that an entire language, culture, people, land was erased. And even when I go to Israel and I see that what's not there, it's also very painful for me. And what do I feel my responsibility is with all this is to hold it to the best of my ability and not to preach, to have compassion on every human soul, Palestinian, Israeli, Jew. When I was in Tel Aviv for 2 weeks, I tried so hard not to judge people who were sitting at a cafe and enjoying the salad because I understood that we're all in this together and for us to join. So I think that's my struggle, is to have compassion for the Israeli people, because I could get angry. And how can people behave like this? How can people be so cold when I'm just watching a movie called They Fought Back last night at PBS, seeing, Vilna and Warsaw and seeing the partisans and seeing that our struggles. And so I just wanted, I don't know how that related. So I just feel that my place is to just hold this and in compassion for all. I'm not an activist in particular where I go to protests. I'm much more in relationship, building relationships. That's my thing. So I just want to continue doing that. And this is from the depth of my soul. This is, I would like to see more of us, Jews, Israelis, to really go to the depth. And maybe there isn't one truth. There's so many truths here. So many things that happened in 1948. Of course, there were massacres, Tantur, Dir Yassin. It's Lod, Ramleh. It's just the hopes of the Jewish people for a better life. So to try and hold all that is my commitment. I don't want to say commitment, but my journey for this year, and to engage in relationship to the best of my ability.
Thank you so much, Evelyn.
I want to thank you, Evelyn, for sharing this. And I, you said collective responsibility, and I like there is a responsibility, and I've seen that there's also some collective guilt, and I want to kind of distinguish between these two, because it's kind of, I've seen it, I've seen the pain of also some of our Jewish brothers and sisters who feel so guilty that it's their own people doing that. And I want to share with you something that's it's from the Quran, that says La taziru wazira wazra ukhra, which means no soul shall bear the burden of another. No soul. So when Malkah came once to me and said, how come that you don't hate me? I'm from the people who have done, the harm. And that's the idea, is that it's not the people, it's human beings who've done this harm. It's human beings. It's not the Jewish people. Yes, there is a responsibility for the Jewish people, and we look for the Jewish people to be responsible because they are at a privilege, because they will be heard by their Jewish brothers and sisters, right? They will be heard from their community. But that's not to say that they have to kind of bear that burden of genocide, because who's doing this genocide? Human beings. And that's, I understand also when the word genocide brings a lot of emotions to specifically to the Jewish people. And my thinking is like, look, it's not that we have to think that human beings are capable of that. If it's Jewish or Muslims or Israelis or Palestinians, we're all capable, unfortunately, of evil, of committing genocide, all of us. So it's not that the Jewish people are doing that, it's the human beings are doing that. And yes, it happens to be Jews, so we have, as Jews, you have responsibility, but you do not carry the guilt and the burden of this. So I just wanted to, because that's something that it came up with our relationship too, is that she felt guilty, and I'm like, it's not, you haven't hurt me or hurt, so it's actually you have to ask what's ours to do, right?
What's what?
What's our responsibility? What's
Oh,
ours to
okay.
do, right? What's mine to do? What's each one of
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
is what we're doing, is that
Mm.
together, and the collective responsibility, that's good, that's coming together. So thank you for sharing it. I don't want to take
And
I just wanted to say one thing, if I could, about your name, Samah, about forgiveness. You've shown that right now, Samah, with forgiveness.
It's a practice.
So thank you for that. And it happened to me once before, a few years ago. So it tells me that we can share the land. We can live together, that there is a future together. So thank you.
And I want to lift up one more piece about the art of forgiveness. I mean, this is such a, it's so important to study forgiveness. And I'm actually realizing I want to make this a year-round study of what does it mean to forgive, and to know that we can be forgiven. And even as a parent, I learned a lot about this, that if I did something and I felt bad about something I did towards my child, which every parent does, if I got too involved in what I did wrong, it was actually hurting my child over again. So it's actually not, it's about like owning what we've done and apologizing, but not getting, if we ruminate about, oh, I've done bad, if we like, there's way, so it's about how to have the proper amount of giving attention to it, and then having the capacity to move on. And also, as I think about just and having spent some time with some friends in Israel, that like I had this sense that they might have a belief that what is happening is not forgivable. And so then it makes it hard to turn towards really looking. And then with all of like the news that keeps perpetuating like we are the victims, we're the victims. And so it's hard to look. And so it's so important to know that the nature of human beings is we can go astray and we are forgivable. There is life after owning what you've done wrong and stopping what you're doing wrong, and there's relationship after it. And so that's something that feels so important, that we keep learning for ourselves and reminding others who are having a hard time seeing this.
Malkah, may I speak now?
Yes, and if you can just be a little bit louder.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, today's going better than before. First of all, acknowledge to everyone here, and especially to Masha, who come from the same places that I come, Poland and Latvia, Vilna, and for my sister that I know quite better, Evelyn, for share from the heart, which we always do, and of course for you, Binah, Malkah Binah, and I want to say your name right, Samah. Okay, I'm going to say something about your name in a minute. For me.
Nehemiah, you need to speak a little louder or get closer to your microphone.
Okay, can you hear me now better? Okay, people hear me so loud, but this is technology. So I want to acknowledge this amazing community, because most people are fighting from a place of anger and hate, and they help, unwittingly, they help the polarity. Leonard Cohen, my favorite poet, the Jewish try to say is Jewish, the other says Christian, the other says is everything. He said in the time of the 60s, he said, I'm afraid that one day we'll become strong enough and we'll be able to take over the Pentagon. But the people that will come to take over the Pentagon won't look different than the people who sit in the Pentagon, because they both will be full with hate. So we have to watch for that. And we are doing it here. And the unity. So the other thing I want to share is about your name and then about my name. Samah, your name also means to listen in Hebrew. To listen from the heart, which you do so beautiful. So I want to share the deep meaning, the universal meaning of the Shema Israel, listen, O Israel. The universal, not the nationalistic one. Listen, O Israel. The God struggler that Jacob was when he was able to meet the inner devil that he had inside, the soul, the projection of his brother Esav, and to win the battle. So listen, God struggler, Kol Adam Israel, all human being potential one day will struggle, are struggling, and will struggle more and more conscious. So listen, Israel, Kol Adam Israel. The Lord our God within us and all around us is one, and we are one with Him. And then I'll finish with the meaning of my name, which I shared before. Nehemiah means divine compassion. And that's what my mother wanted for me. Am I doing my best? She needed it, and all humanity needed it. And my grandfather was Nehemiah. In that day, Yom Kippur, 1943, I think it was, or 1942, the Nazis were soon coming. Maybe it was 40, I don't remember.
You need to be a little louder.
Okay, my grandfather Nehemiah, he came to synagogue and he wasn't official rabbi. And he said, Jewish people, stop fasting. Go to the street and feed the people who come from running away from the Germans. And they did. even though he wasn't the rabbi. They listened. They stopped the fasting for saving the souls of these people. And then he could go to Israel because he had certificate. And for some reason, the family, his wife maybe was more conservative, and they stayed. And he walked with his community to the forest with his grandson to be killed. So I'm going to be wiser than that, and I'm going to protect everyone, including myself, and to do the best I can. And my intention is for today, my responsibility is to come deeper and deeper, not just the intellectual understanding of unity, but to the experience of the heart. That underneath all the faces here, there's only one Hashem, one Allah, one Jesus, all names, but there's one awareness, and we have to go beyond our mind to learn to do Shema, to listen. And I have still a work to do there, and I'm doing it the best I can.
Thank you, Nehemiah. Beautiful.
What a beautiful name.
Can I say something now?
Yes, and then Tashi after.
Thanks, everyone. This is a really beautiful gathering. For me, I feel like I'm in the midst of a reconciling inside of myself, inside of my heart. And it's been going on for a few years. October 7th was really, I guess, the beginning of it for me, or shortly after. And I live in Canada, and I grew up both here and in Israel, back and forth my whole life, and just had the, typical Israeli narrative. So I don't know where I'll be on the other side, but I do feel like, as painful as this is for me and for the world, I do feel like it is important. And something I think about a lot lately is, how dark the world looks and how ugly and messy. And I think that probably, I don't know, but I think probably it's always been like this. And our job is to find the light in our hearts, even in this ugliness. And part of my reconciling is sort of like turning away from being Jewish, turning away from it. And that's something, and even like doing this, I'm like, coming here, it feels good to, I guess, like, find something light inside of, because I've been so disheartened by so much of what has happened in my community. And my name is Lisa Devichani, and I say I'm a Jew in hiding. It's a fake name because I was given the name Elisheva, which means to have an oath to God. And my family, they were in Italy during the Second World War, and they were saved by having their name changed from Levy. And so I feel like my name is Elisheva Levy, but I go by a name that is very much keeps me safe and in many ways privileged right now in Canada. I don't have to disclose anything about who I am. And yeah, I just thank everyone for this, and it's very meaningful. Thanks for bringing purpose to this day for me. Thank you.
And Elisheva, if you want to rename yourself just for this moment, you're welcome on your Zoom screen.
You're safe here.
Thank you.
Your full self is welcome. Tashi, is that pronounced right?
Yes, it is, but I'm not sure whether Susan and Moon were before me. No,
you were first.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, my heart beats really fast. My name is Tashi. That's Tibetan, and means good luck and happiness. And my German Protestant, but also Buddhist mother gave it to me. And it really spoke to me what you said. I didn't want, I wasn't raised Jewish, so I thought I could maximum come, but I could not speak here. And the fact that I dared to speak was because what you shared of that not one soul carries the sin of another, or the guilt of another, and that if we focus so much on our collective guilt or on our individual guilt, it cuts off the relationships with each other. And for me, being German, it was Jewish friends who took that collective guilt of me and said, "Hey, you were not born, you were not there." And at the same time, it's of course it's something that has a strong impact on me, and that it was very crucial that they shared this with me, because that allowed me to be in relationship both with them and also with a lot of Palestinian friends. I did a lot of nonviolent action in Israel, Palestine. And I think if I had been drowned by my guilt, I wouldn't have been able to do so. So this really opened a door to many people. And also opened a door for me to be touched and to be in relationship. And I participated in Yom Kippur before, when I was part of Occupy Wall Street in New York, and we did a Yom Kippur on the street on Wall Street, and asked for atonement to our also our complicitness in global injustice. And today I'm really here because of the overall situation, but also because a very dear friend of mine who is Jewish, we actually met at Occupy Wall Street. And she's also an organizer and activist like me. And the organization that she works for just was declared terrorist in the US. So she's like under acute threat, and a lot of her family fled from Europe to the US to be safe. And all that did flee were not safe. And now we're in the absurd situation that we're trying to get her to Germany to be safe. And yeah, it's very challenging to navigate that. And at the same time, I think the most important thing we can do in this whole mess is to be in good relationship with each other, right? And to keep each other dear and to celebrate our holidays together and to, celebrate life together. So that's why I'm here. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here. It's a really big honor. Thank you.
Thank you for choosing to be here.
And thank you for sharing your heart. Susan and Moon. Susan and Moon, do you want to share?
Thank you. So my English name is Moon, and I converted to Judaism something around 40 years ago. And I was given the name Emunah, partly because it has the sound of moon. And I was reminded of this listening to the Hebrew and Arabic words and the sound resonance, and just I don't know what to say about it exactly, but the whole subject of how we distinguish ourselves one from another, and one culture from another, and that there's beauty and wonder in that, in the differences, but also ways in which we make those distinctions and don't get to see how much likeness there is. I had just, you mentioned saying the Al-Hate 5 times, which certainly has the resonance with the Muslim prayers 5 times a day. And my rabbi recently just said that we used to say our prayers as Jews 5 times a day, but actually there was the desire to make a distinction between us and others, so that we changed the number of times that we said our prayers. So that's just kind of like on the intellectual level, but also, I guess, somewhat on the feeling level. But really on the feeling level, I just recently learned that Samah's name meant forgiveness, and I learned it standing on the street with you and somebody asking you the meaning of your name. And I just want to say that, the experience of like being on the street together and seeing what that means in terms of the effect that it has on people around us and the effect that they have on us. And you also, there was somebody who really was probably really traumatized and also really angry. And some of us reacted in some ways, and you turned to me and said something about what you thought what worked in terms of reaction or non-reaction in such a gentle way. I really felt like, this queen of wisdom, receiving it myself from you, that it was without judgment of what I had done. But it also was like really deeply meaningful. Like I was able to imagine a different way of responding. So thank you. Samah, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to say that Moon is referring to this public witness, we call it, where we stand together. We've been doing this. This is the second time we've done it. We stand together on Monday. So it's responding to the Satyam call to do something together. So we decided to, here in Philly, to stand together on the street in the city hall. And Monday we did that also beautifully together and chanting salam, peace, salam, shalom. And it was beautiful. There is a power of being together too. And sometimes it happens in Zoom and sometimes in person too. And it's like collective, some kind of empowerment. So that's what Moon is referring to. And there's a person who was not, like you said, he had his own pain and couldn't see that we're coming in this standing together, peace and bringing love. And I felt just that the energy that he's bringing is something that probably we don't need to engage with, because the energy that we're bringing is the energy of love and peace. And he couldn't take that. So I was kind of, I don't know, felt like I needed to protect the group where we can stay in that rather than go to his energy. So that's, thank you.
So I want to, there was one more. I want to offer 2 more practices and try to close in the hour and a half. But if you want to just say a few sentences, would love to hear your voice.
Yes, thank you so much. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to say that this is my first time in a Satyam related call, and I'm so touched and I'm so moved by so much of what has been said so far, and I'm really thankful. And I want to say a bit about the name Amir, actually, because for a long time I've been using the name M. I grew up in Israel, Palestine, and I moved to Germany 9 years ago. And I, over time, also through a gender process, I changed my name to M. And I think this was part of this response of wanting to distance myself from Israel and anything that reminded me of that. And because it became unbearable with what was happening and what is still happening in Palestine. And actually just last week I started using Amir again. And this is my tshuva, this is my my tawbah, with the understanding that this is it's necessary. So my mom named me Amir because it's a name that has meaning both in Hebrew and in Arabic. In Hebrew it means a treetop. And I am coming to understand that when I tried to hide myself, when I tried to hide pieces of myself, when I tried to also assimilate in the European, when I tried to also with my English accent, I feel this way. This actually doesn't help the work I want to be doing in the world. And it actually clashes with this work, with the work of this activism. So my tshuva is to start using the word, the name Amir again. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
And in Arabic, it means prince.
Yes.
Wow.
Beautiful thing.
Wow. Welcome,
Thanks.
welcome, Amir, and thank you so much for sharing. And just a moment of taking a few breaths and just receiving all this beautiful light that has been shining through all of the stories that have been shared today. It feels like we're just getting started. And for those of you who haven't yet spoken, we haven't yet met. Oh, Isam, would love to hear from you. But you need to unmute.
Hello, everyone. My name is Isam Sarama. I am a Palestinian Muslim. I love my brother and sister, Jewish people. They're great people. I'm going to say one thing. You shouldn't blame yourself for what the Netanyahu government is doing. You cannot, like Samah said, no one buries other people's what they did. And my feeling in what I know about my community, very forgiving people. We are forgiving people. So, and I have a lot of Israeli friends, and they are good people in Israel too. What else I want to say? About what my name means, I can tell you what my name means. My name means it simplifies the strength, stability, connection, and protection. That's what the Psalms means.
Wow.
And also, I'll be traveling to Israel, Palestine on October the 11th. So I stayed away from October 7th. Trying to go right a couple of days after that. My son is getting engaged. So I want to go meet him over there. And peace is possible. Can both people live on the same land? Yes. I see it. I feel it. As long as we end up with a better government than the Netanyahu government, basically. And and they stop this nonsense where you go to a Palestinian village and they have this big sign, no Israeli people allowed. So the idea they're trying to do is separate the people from each other. They don't want people to get closer to each other, and that creates also a problem. So I hope one day I don't see these signs anymore, and let people go wherever they want. I mean, I have the privilege myself as an American citizen and a Palestinian citizen, able to travel to Tel Aviv and able to go back and forth into Jerusalem, anywhere in Israel. But everyone else cannot do that. So I hope that will change, where everyone can go. Israelis go to the Palestinian areas, the Palestinian goes to the Israeli areas. And I think the media and the good people out there have a lot to do. Again, the Jewish community have a lot to do, as the Palestinian, but because it's happening in your name, can I say it like that? I mean, because they always try to put Judaism with the Israeli government is doing, but I know it's not. And let's hope for the better and better future for all. But it can happen. It will happen. Just keep the hope.
Thank you so much, Isam.
Thank you.
And what is the Arabic term? What do we say when congratulations? How do we say that?
Mabruk.
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 Mabruk, yes.
So I'm gonna bring this particular session to a close. I'm gonna offer another communal confessional practice, and then we'll close with a prayer for healing. So I'm gonna share my.
Thank you.
And as Malkah is doing that, I just want to say this community, this us being together, us all being together, that is threatening to the leaders and the Netanyahu government and all of the states and the governments and the powerful leaders who don't want that. So that's threatening. Our work is really important because it's that's exactly what Hassan was saying, is that they want to keep us, this wall that they put is not just, for it's for a reason to keep us separate, so we don't create these connections we're creating. Because once we have these connections, they say, no, you're not going to hurt my brother, my Jewish brother and sisters. You're in the other way. But they don't want that. They want to keep us so we can separate, so we can keep on dehumanizing each other. And that's, that says like how important our work is here.
So I offer, as part of I think I'm putting together a toolkit of rehumanizing, which is a new word I learned starting to come to Satyam this summer. And this is Rabbi Bert Jacobson, who was a Jewish renewal rabbi who passed in recent times. Wrote this particular translation of there's forms of communal confessionals where we do from Aleph to Taf, or here from A to X. I don't know why Y and Z didn't make it in, but that's okay. But that it also really reminds us of our humanity. Yai dai 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 dai, hi da da dai dai dai, da dai dai dai. Who are we? We are light and truth, infinite wisdom, eternal goodness. Yet we have abused, we have betrayed, we've been cruel, we've destroyed, we've embittered, we have falsified, we have gossiped. Yes, we have hated. Our real being is light and truth, infinite wisdom, eternal goodness. Yet we have insulted, we have jeered, we have killed. Yes, we have lied, we have mocked, we have neglected, we have oppressed, we have perverted. At our core, we are light and truth, infinite wisdom, eternal goodness. Yet we have quarreled, we have rebelled, we have stolen, yes, we have transgressed. We've been unkind, we've been violent, we've been wicked, we've been xenophobic. And in the Hebrew, Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dofi, Ha'avinu, Vehirshanu, Zadnu, Hamasnu, Tafalnu Shaker, Ya'atnu Ra, Kizavnu, Lahatnu, Maratnu, Niatnu, Sararnu, Avinu, Pashanu, Tsararnu, Kishrinu, Oref. Hai dai 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 dai, hai da da dai dai dai, da dai dai dai, Rashanu, Shichatnu, Ti'avnu, Ta'inu, Tit'anu. One of our tools for rehumanizing ourselves, knowing the truth of our light and our love, and naming the ways we have missed the mark, naming our humanity. And before we close, I want to invite us to turn to a prayer for healing. And if anyone wants to put in the chat names of whom you're praying for healing today. And I want to lift up our dear May, who is really a spiritual leader of this Satyam community, and praying for her as she, during her journey of returning to eating after her hunger strike through the summer, and praying for her safety as well. And if anyone else wants to add any names in the chat. And the Hebrew in this, I put it in the chat, the chant we're going to do, Ana Elna Refana La, please God, heal her, which is a short prayer that Moshe says on behalf of his sister when she is struck with an illness. Our prayers can be 5 words long, that simple. May the waters of healing flow through our soul. May the waters of healing flow through our heart. May the waters of healing flow through our form. Ana Elna, please, Holy One, Refana La, let your healing be done. Ana Elna, please heal our soul. Refana La, may we be whole. May the waters of healing flow through our soul. May the waters of healing flow through our heart. May the waters of healing flow through our form. Ana Elna, please, Holy One, Refan Allah, let your healing be done. Ana Elna, please heal our soul. Refan Allah, may we be whole. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And may we all be sealed in the book of life and peace and goodness and well-being in the year to come.